In this video, I'm going to be telling you guys why buying this cheap 2010 Honda Civic is one of the best decisions I have ever made in my entire life. Not a lot of people would go for something like this, a cheap car in this day and age. But for me personally, there are a few reasons why buying something like this makes a lot of sense. Importance drive-through. Gotta get my coffee first thing in the morning.
I can help.
Hey, can I get a medium double?
Yep.
That's everything. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
If you're Kenyan, let me know what's your favorite Tim Hortons order. I always get the double because I also don't want to try anything else, and I always love the double. But yeah, if there's anything better, let me know. Got my coffee. Oh, it's so bright. Okay, so the first point is obviously the financial freedom. I'm in my early 20s, so I try my absolute best not to have a car payment. So getting something like this cheap car, especially if it's reliable, something like a Honda, Toyota, Acura, or a Lexus, those are my four favorite first cars. I always recommend to everyone that I know that if you can get a cheap car that you can pay fully in cash out the door, and knowing that you have a car outside that is fully owned by you, not by the bank, there's no mortgage payment or anything, the car is fully owned by you, and you know it's going to be reliable because you bought one of the most reliable brands out there. And usually speaking, older cars, especially the early 2000s to the late 2010s, those cars are very reliable. So if you can get something that is fully maintained, as well maintained with the receipts and everything, you have a really good car that you have no car payments. And I think especially if you're someone young, that is one of the best things you can have. We live in a day and age where people like to flex online how much money they have or what kind of nice car they drive. So a lot of young people get into this trap where they're like, okay, I need to get something that I can't afford. Have you guys seen those TikToks where like $1,000 car payments are a common thing nowadays? Like, and I see those videos, I'm like, $1,000 a month for car payment, that's absolutely ridiculous. Unless you're making a lot of money, then yeah, that makes sense. But if you're someone young, I don't think most of us would be making that much amount of money. So getting something cheap, getting something reliable, and having that financial freedom and not having a financial burden in your life is a great thing. I mean, this car is not perfect, I'll tell you guys later, but I think it runs well, the engine works really well, there's not many major issues in it. I mean, don't get anything that has engine issues, because the financial burden you will have later paying and repairing those cars is not a good idea. So again, yes, get a cheap car, you will have financial freedom, but on only one condition: it has to be very well maintained, it shouldn't have any major issues, and it should be good to go for a very long time. The only thing you have to do is just doing oil changes and periodic maintenance like brake changes and whatnot. But yeah, those four brands, Lexus, Acura, Toyota, Honda, if you can buy a car from those four brands in the early 2000s to late 2010s, I think you are set up for good financial success. That does not mean by any chance this car is absolutely perfect. There are so many flaws in this car. I mean, for example, I just had to change all four brakes, which costed me over, I believe, $750. I had to get brand new tires. I had to get a brand new battery, which all costed me like, I believe, over $1,700. I'll leave a link in the description below detailing every single expense that I've done over the past 2-3 months. I also need to do an alignment. I also need to change the spark plugs, and on the exterior, I mean, as you guys can see, I need to get a new paint for this front bumper. I mean, there's some rust on the side, so cosmetically there's some changes to do. Also, there's some things I need to get it done. And as you guys can see, I drive this thing literally everywhere. It's snowing over here in Canada, so I drive this thing a lot. So obviously there's going to be rust built up and everything. I don't wash this car literally every single day because I know this is my daily driver and I have no point washing it. I park this car outside, so you know, if I were to wash this car and park it over overnight. The next day it's gonna be snow and it's gonna be dirty again. So that's why I leave this car as it is. But yeah, again, there's so many things that's wrong with this car, but hey, I really don't care. This car does the job that I want it to do, which is take me from point A to point B reliably. As long as there are no, as I said, as long as there are no engine issues or anything mechanical, I am doing good. I don't need this to be like in tip-top condition, in like mint condition, because at the end of the day, it's not a 2025 Mercedes. It's just the 2010 Honda Civic that has over, I think like 280,000 kilometers on it. So again, do not expect to have a nice fancy car with zero issues for like getting something cheap, but versus saying like you get what you paid for. That's exactly what something like this do. And the last point is this car actually made me a better driver. Sorry for the background noise, there's like a highway going down over there, but yeah, this car actually made me drive better. I moved to Canada about 3 years ago and I grew up in a country where there's no snow, so I was pretty terrified actually about driving in the winter. But after I bought this car, knowing this is a very cheap car and knowing I don't need to like baby this car every time I drive, this car actually made me a better driver, especially driving in these conditions when there's snow. Obviously that doesn't mean I'm driving this car recklessly. That is not what I'm talking about. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Like this car, if you buy a cheap car, you actually can drive it pretty fun. I mean, you guys know the saying, right? Driving a slow car fast is more fun than driving a fast car slow, and that I for sure have experienced in this car. When I take this car in the mountains, my foot is to the floor and I'm still like barely on the speed limit, so it's pretty fun. But that's beside the case. This car made me a really good driver. So if you're someone young, if you're like someone who's young, who's just getting into driving, I highly recommend getting a cheap car like this, and that will make you a better driver. So in the future, when you drive nicer fancy cars, you can actually enjoy them because you know how to drive. So yeah, that's it from me today, guys. I hope you guys understand why I love cheap cars, why I bought this car. And if you're someone who's interested in getting your first car maybe, or getting just a cheap car, I hope this video helped you make that decision. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. Make sure to drive safe if you live in snowy conditions like where I am. And yeah, until the next video, I'll catch you guys very soon. Right now it is the next day, and I know I said this car is extremely reliable, but I do have a bit of an issue right now. Also, don't mind how filthy this car is. It has been extremely hot in the past couple of days here in Calgary. That's why I'm literally wearing like shirt with no like jacket or anything, because it's been super hot. So all the snow is like melting right now, so that's why this thing looks stupidly ugly. But don't worry, I will be washing this car. It's just not today. So the issue is, the other day I was about to go to work and I literally started the car and it wasn't starting out. The car wasn't even cranking, so I was like, it has to be the battery. So I have this thing, the NoCo Boost. This is like basically like a battery pack for the car, so it basically charges the battery. This is not a paid ad or anything, but this thing has to be the best money I have ever spent, no joke. The amount of times I have started this car, or not even just this car, but all my friends' car with this thing is crazy. So if you want like a battery pack for your car, you should get this one. This thing is absolute gold. But then it kept happening, so I thought, hey, it must be the starter issue, and I was a little bit worried that I might have to replace the starter, because it's 8th-gen Civic, the starter located is like underneath the engine bay and it's super hard to reach, and I don't know much about cars, so I was super worried that I might need to replace the starter. But I do think all I need to do is clean my terminal, because yeah, let me show you my battery terminal and you'll understand. As you guys can see, my ground is extremely corroded, and I did some research and turns out the ground is what causes the battery to misfire or not to crank. So I had a feeling this could be the issue, because the positive terminal is super clean. It's just a negative terminal. There's tons of corrosion right here. So I think as long as I can clean the terminal and get that like super clean, I should be fine and I shouldn't have any more issues. Okay, so first thing first, I'm gonna sand the terminals down. So for that, I have a 400 and a 220 sandpapers. Okay, first I'm gonna go with the 220 and then I'll go for the 400. And I also have my trusty little vacuum cleaner to vacuum all the residue that's gonna come off, because it's pretty unhealthy for you. Okay, so the first step is to get rid of this bowl. So for that, I'm gonna use this 10mm wrench, and that's gonna help me take out this part, and then I'll be able to clean it up. So yeah, first thing first, let's get up the bolt first. Just like that, I have the bolt and the nut and the bolt, I guess, both of them off. And now that the bolt and the nut off, that should let me able to take this off. So there you go. Just like that, I have it all. Look at all the dust and all the residue and the corrosion here. First, I'm gonna vacuum all the dust off before I start using sandpaper, so it's much cleaner. And I'm gonna use the sandpaper to clean the terminal. Okay, as you guys can see, I clean up the terminal and there's no more corrosion or residue, and the positive terminal looks pretty good, so I'm not gonna touch that. But yeah, now this should be clean. So all I need to do is put the bolt back on and it should be good to go. Yeah, always make sure all your terminals are super clean, especially when you install new battery. I did the mistake of not cleaning the terminals when I put the brand new battery, and a lot of people, especially on my TikTok, commented saying I should clean the battery. So if you're watching, make sure to go check your car's battery terminal and make sure it's not corroded. Okay, so the bolt is on, the terminal is super clean, and everything is good to go. So now let me go start the car and hopefully it's gonna start pretty quickly. Okay, moment of truth. First, let me see if the key works. So it locks and unlocks, so that's a good sign. So let me get in the car first. Okay, so the key goes in like that. Let me put in the run position. Let's give it a few more seconds and then let's go. There we go. Zero issues. So that was the issue then. The battery terminal being corroded is issue why it wasn't starting. So, and yeah, that's it from me.